Today we have a new kid on the block, Gallant, or Eastview Prince Gallant is his formal name. So Gallant comes from Eastview Australian Ponies, located in Cowra, and Fiona Wheel is his breeder. And so Gallant has some very basic training. He's 16 months old currently, so he trucks because he's located 10 hours from us. He leads very well in hand. He's had his feet trimmed. He's been gelded. However, today we're upping the ante on his training because we're preparing him for the 2025 show season, and I don't want to be towed around the arena. I mean, we're all still hoping I can actually run, so we'll see how that goes. So when I'm preparing my ponies or horses for the show ring for the lead-in classes, I like to put them on the long reins in the Kula Lunge. So this is Gallant's very first session in the long reins in the Kula Lunge. I don't have to worry, he's gelded, so I don't have to worry about putting a bit in his mouth, so I can show him in a lead-in bridle with no bit. So he's only in a halter, and even if I did have to put a bit in his mouth, that wouldn't be my first step today. It's enough to have a lunge roller on him around his belly and tighten for the first time, have the Kula Lunge hind quarter sling on, and then have side reins attached to the halter, and then for me to be asking him to go forward around me and away from me versus being led, which is why he keeps trying to turn in and face me. Obviously this would be easier done in a round yard, however we have dismantled our round yard because it was broken and we haven't replaced it yet, and then the footing needs to be sorted out, so we have a very good rubber sand blend on our arena. So I'm just going to have to do things in a slightly longer way on the arena. His behaviour is excellent. Behaviour-wise, he's one of the quietest, most sensible horses that I've started on the long reins out on the arena. Throughout this session, there was absolutely no bucking or bad behaviour at all. He took everything very calmly and in his stride. So when you're starting off a horse on the long range, you need to stay behind the shoulder as you would when you're lunging, but you need to be even more fluid with the youngsters so that you're always staying behind the shoulder, and you just want to not get in their way. The concept is to get them going forward. He chooses his pace. We do eventually end up with a little canter. And so my job then is to go with him and to try and turn him without blocking the forward. So I'm having a bit of trouble keeping up with him there versus actually trying to stop him too much. So you want to keep turning them. So if they can just go in a circle around you, then you're not blocking the forward, and then they can go at whatever speed they want to go at. But obviously he has never been long-reined or lunged before. He's only been led in hand. So therefore it's my job to teach him. So this is the very, very first baby steps of what we're doing. And then he needs to learn to listen to pressure and follow and submit to that pressure. So again, this is his first training session, so I'm trying to keep the contact on his nose, because I don't even have a bit in his mouth, as light as possible, keep things as comfortable as possible, and just keep him going forward. So you'll notice when I use the whip, I don't use the whip near his hindquarters. I use it out behind me or out to the side. Again, the whip is a tool. It's not something that they need to be scared of. It's something they need to understand. It's an aid. And it's always the concept of less is more. So if I've got to chase him around the arena to lunge him, we have a problem. So already he's learning to go forward around me, and it's mostly without turning in. But then I've got this is why he's on the long rein, so I've got the outside rein, so I can stop him from turning in. And so basically whatever he offers me today will be enough. So you can see he's stopped, so I'm just going to keep moving behind the shoulder, pick up my outside rein, I am still pretty slow on my feet. If I was quicker, this would be better. So I just give him a little pat and then move him around again. And so sometimes so I'm always wanting to keep him forward and in front of me. He is actually a little less stiff on this side. He's a little easier to turn on this side, which is why I've got the reins in one hand and I can just sort of have the whip flicking out to the side and keep him moving around me. And you'll notice that I'm always moving as well. So you have to be careful not to fall into the position where the horse is lunging you. So the horse still needs to be moving around you, but he is a baby. So I need to stay fluid with my position so I can stay behind him and keep pushing him forward in front of me. There is no chance that we're going to have even circles today. All he needs to do is go forward and not go out the gate that I never shut. And then, as I said, when they trot out, you have to be careful to stay with them. So once you get them going forward, then you can start to position yourself more behind them or at an angle behind them and start to move them around the arena. So it's all about them keeping an even distance from you and going forward. And then you can build on that from there, starting with your directional changes. It's about improving balance, getting them straighter, getting them working even on both sides. But this is the basics. So ignore what the head is doing. We are not trying to hold the head down yet. The side reins are not attached. I just need him going forward and starting to hopefully respond to my body language.